So we got more Kawhi rumors. I already did the Celtics video yesterday. Today is going to be the Lakers in this video. Later on, the Sixers. 3 teams that are rumored for Kawhi. But one reason why the Lakers are so interesting is because Kawhi has said that that is his preference. And I'll admit, I don't think the Lakers can make the best offer for the guy. And I'll dive into that. But we should start with, Kawhi does have the power to say to Boston, Philly, there was even a Phoenix Suns rumor in there with the number 1 overall pick, whoever the hell else, they could say, or Kawhi could say, I'm not going to re-sign with you. I'm only going to re-sign with the Lakers. And if that's the case, then that does force the Spurs' hands a lot, and then they would be potentially forced to take an offer that could be okay, but not necessarily a great return for a top 10 player, you know? I mean, Kawhi Leonard is a guy who doesn't show up every 6 or 7 years, you know? So if you have to trade the guy, ideally you would get a lot back for him, but it's one of those weird situations with free agency and the expiring contract and all that. So now the next thing we can get into is, what do I mean when I say the Lakers, to me, can't offer the best thing for the guy? Well, if we start with their players, between Lonzo, who, of all the Lakers' young guys, I think I like Lonzo the most because I think he's just Jason Kidd 2.0. But I don't think the Spurs would take him on because of the LeVar Ball stuff. Even if Popovich wasn't going to be the coach moving forward, which I'm not assuming he will or won't be, I'm just saying even if they went all in on being a young team, I still don't think they would take the guy because they just don't seem like the type of organization that would want all that extra noise. I mean, we saw how they dealt with the Kawhi Leonard situation this year where they were passive-aggressive, and so I don't think they want to deal with that sort of thing again, right? So then you look at, like, Kyle Kuzma. I like Kuzma, okay? Can make threes, can cut to the basket, can post up on smaller guys. If his ball handling improves, and he could be an even better offensive player. Rebounding seems okay enough. Now, I don't know if he'll ever be much of a defensive player, but he can definitely be a piece of a team. That's a nice player. Brandon Ingram, I think, has shown ball handling ability. I think his playmaking, while it hasn't been super prevalent, it's been a thing. His rebounding's been okay, and I like his willingness to play within a team, and you hope that the shooting and just overall shot making can get there. I think the fact that he got stronger in his second season was a good thing. But even so, for Kawhi Leonard, I'm still not going nuts over that. You look at a guy like Josh Hart, I like him as well. Seems like he can be also a nice piece of a team, similar to Kuzma. Maybe he won't average as many points as Kuzma will, but seems like a guy who can handle the ball, shoot threes, play within a system effectively. He cares on defense, which is great. And to his credit, I think it's more than he just cares on defense. I think he can be a really good defender in the NBA for a while. However, when you're going to trade Kawhi, you want the potential to have a real star player. And I think there are some people out there who feel like Kuzma and Ingram can be stars. I am not in that boat. I think they both can be very good, but you want to get very good back with Kawhi, or do you want the chance at something really special? Which is why I think the team that can offer the most for the guys is the Celtics, right? Spoke on it yesterday. Terry Rozier, who's growing into a decent point guard. Jaylen Brown, who I think is in play for being like at least a top 30 player one day. Perhaps even creeping into the top 20 when you look at being a guy who can defend at least 3 positions, maybe 4. Very athletic. The jumper is better than everybody thought it would be. His handle is also pretty decent. Like, could Jaylen Brown not on the Celtics, be a guy who can average high teens, low 20s, be an awesome defender, create his own shot enough, get to the free throw line. I think it's in play. He still has work to do. But you combine that with Rozier and then the Sacramento pick that the Celtics could offer, which could end up being the second pick in the draft next season. I think that's better than anything the Lakers can offer. But again, Kawhi might just be committed to the Lakers, or maybe the Celtics don't want to make that move. I mean, I spoke on that as well in terms of the team potentially being super expensive and maybe all the negativity around Kawhi last season, the Celtics just don't want to take that in. Should also mention the 76ers, who, to me, if I knew Markelle Fultz's jumper was going to be right, which is a huge if, and probably there's a decent chance it never gets to where it was going to be before. But if his jumper was there, I think I might just want him over anything the Lakers could offer me, really. Because you look at a guy who could probably be a 25-point scorer and lead an offense and all that. So there's definitely reason to believe, for me, that Kawhi could not be on the Lakers if there's other teams that are really all in on wanting Kawhi. But there's some gray area there, of course. So, if the Lakers were really the team to get the guy, then I think the offer would be, if I was the Lakers and I was forced into this, it would probably be, starting point would be Kyle Kuzma and Brandon Ingram. I don't want Lonzo because I don't want to deal with LeVar Ball. And I like Ingram and Kuzma, okay? Two good wings who can do stuff. Now, Luol Deng's contract would probably have to be in there to make the money work. If not that, then you might have to get a third team involved, whatever. And I would definitely need some draft picks. So actually, we're going to have to get a third team involved. Again, this offer doesn't sound beautiful to me, but they could be in a position where they have no other choice, right? Or they just lose Kawhi outright. So let's say Kawhi is on the Lakers. Then you'll still have a lot of cap space. And while I don't know if LeBron would still go to the Lakers because the Western Conference is significantly more difficult than the East, and you could make arguments about which team would be the best fit for him and whatever. But yeah, it would probably make LeBron's day a little bit easier if Kawhi Leonard was on the Lakers. And then if LeBron and Paul George came over, and the money would be pretty tight, and there's a chance you'd have to make another move somewhere, whether it's at that point trading away Lonzo's money, who knows. But I do think if you were determined enough, you could get Kawhi on his current salary and Paul George and LeBron James on the same team. And at that point, of course, you gotta commit to it if you're LeBron, right? Because you have those three guys, and I mean, that would be something special, right? Defensively, you have two of the best wings in the league between Kawhi and Paul George. I don't think Paul George is the second best defensive wing, but he's up there. And then between LeBron, you just have to do a not horrible job of rounding out the rest of the team, and you've got yourself a great group of talent. Now, I wonder if there's a chance that LeBron would not come over, but let's say Paul George does, and you have Paul George and you have Kawhi. I mean, offensively, Kawhi, I think, could still carry a lot of the load, and then Paul George could be a great number two guy. Defensively, you'd still be awesome, and I think you'd have a chance to keep some of your other guys, right? Like, I think it's pretty much a guarantee that Lonzo would be on the team at that point, right? Defensively, between Lonzo, Kawhi, and Paul George, that's a really good three. If you still have Josh Hart, which I think the Spurs would probably look long and hard about taking him on in a trade. But if you still had him, then there you go, more defense for you. And hell, you might even be able to keep Julius Randle at that point. Now, I'm sure you would also look to other avenues in free agency, because if LeBron or another max player was not going to sign with Paul George, then you'd have a bit of money to play with, and then you could pick and choose certain guys. Maybe you make a run at Clint Capella, that sort of thing. You might be able to get Trevor Ariza as well, some good role player for you. So, I don't know, a lot of it is in the unknown, and it depends on, one, if the Lakers can actually make this happen, which, again, I don't think they can make the best offer, but whatever. I'm going to repeat myself on that one, but there's that, and then if they were to get the guy, more things open up after that. But from a basketball standpoint, I mean, as long as Kawhi is healthy, which is an if he's not this dude who's like not going to communicate with anyone, which is also an if, like there's definitely some fear here. But I think if you're the Lakers, you're more willing to take that on and risk that because, you know, this team hasn't been good in a while. And this team, even now, is still one of the most, actually it's the most profitable team in the league. So if you just got one star player in there and potentially another one, then you'd be making an insane amount of money. So there's a lot of reason to do this for the Lakers. We'll see if it actually happens.